The repair bay on Station Gamma 7 smelled of welding smoke and hydraulic fluid. Marcus Chun wiped grease from his hands and surveyed the battered freighter that had just docked. The ship was a disaster. Hull plating hung loose, one engine nacelle sparked intermittently, and the landing gear looked ready to collapse. Woman emerged from the airlock wearing a stained flight suit and carrying a datapad. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical bun, and exhaustion lined her face. She approached the counter where Marcus stood. "I need repairs," she said simply. Marcus pulled up his diagnostic scanner and walked around the vessel. The damage was extensive. Micrometeorite impacts had shredded the outer hull. The main reactor was running at 60% efficiency. 3 of the 4 maneuvering thrusters were completely shot. "This is going to be expensive," Marcus said, tallying the numbers. "We're looking at minimum 12,000 credits, probably closer to 15 once I get inside and see what else is broken." The woman's shoulders sagged. She glanced at the datapad in her hands, and her jaw tightened. "I have 800 credits." Marcus had seen this before. Deep space was unforgiving, and plenty of independent haulers ran on razor-thin margins. One bad run, one unexpected repair, and they were finished. "What happened?" he asked. "Ran through an uncharted debris field in the outer reaches," she explained. "Navigation data was bad. By the time sensors picked up the fragments, I was already in the middle of it. Had to punch through or get shredded." Marcus nodded. The outer reaches were notorious for outdated charts and hidden hazards. Corporate shipping lanes got regular updates, but independent contractors had to make do with whatever information they could afford. He looked at the ship again, then at the woman. There was something in her eyes that reminded him of his sister. That same stubborn determination not to quit, even when everything was falling apart. "Tell you what," Marcus said. "I'll fix the critical systems. Get your reactor stable, patch the hull breaches, replace the thrusters. You can pay me the 800 now, and we'll call it even." The woman stared at him. "That's not enough to cover parts, let alone labor." "I've got surplus materials from other jobs," Marcus lied. "And I'm ahead on my quotas this month. Consider it a favor. I don't accept charity." "It's not charity. It's business." Marcus crossed his arms. "You get back on your feet. You remember the guy who helped you out, and maybe someday you send some work my way. That's how things work out here." The woman studied him for a long moment, then extended her hand. "Deal. My name is Elena. Marcus." He shook her hand, noting the calluses and the firm grip. This was someone who knew hard work. Over the next 3 days, Marcus threw himself into the repairs. He pulled double shifts, working late into the station's artificial night cycle. The hull breaches were worse than he'd initially assessed. He had to replace entire sections of plating and reinforce the structural supports. Elena helped where she could. She proved surprisingly skilled with a plasma torch and had an intuitive understanding of ship systems that made the work go faster. They fell into an easy rhythm, communicating with gestures and brief instructions. During breaks, they talked. Elena had been running cargo for 8 years, ever since her father's death had left her with his ship and his debts. She'd paid off the debts 2 years ago, but barely scraped by since then. The outer reaches offered higher payouts, but came with higher risks. Marcus told her about growing up on Europa Station, about learning mechanics from his uncle, and about saving enough to buy his own repair bay on Gamma 7. He'd been here 5 years now, building a reputation for honest work and fair prices. On the 3rd day, Marcus finished the last of the repairs. He'd done more than he'd promised. The reactor was running at 95% efficiency. The hull was solid. All 4 thrusters were operational, and he'd even replaced the worn landing gear struts. Elena ran diagnostics from the cockpit while Marcus cleaned up the bay. When she emerged, she looked puzzled. You replaced the nav computer, she said. Old one was glitchy. Had a spare, and the environmental controls. Those were going to fail within the month. Easier to swap them now. Elena descended the boarding ramp slowly. Marcus, this is at least 20,000 credits worth of work. He shrugged. I told you I had surplus parts. No one has this much surplus. She moved closer, her expression serious. Why did you really do this? Marcus set down his tools and met her gaze. Because you needed help, and I could provide it. Because I've been where you are, one bad break from losing everything. Because it was the right thing to do. Just like that. Just like that. Elena reached into her pocket and pulled out a small metal disc. She held it out to Marcus. He took it, examining the intricate design. It appeared to be some kind of official seal, but he didn't recognize the symbols. What is this? He asked. My real identification, Elena said quietly. I am Elena Thrace, Crown Princess of the Thracian Systems. Marcus nearly dropped the disc. The Thracian Systems controlled 40 inhabited worlds and were one of the most powerful political entities in the known galaxy. You're joking. I'm not. Elena's posture changed subtly, becoming more formal. For the past year, I have been traveling incognito, searching for something my mother insisted I needed to find before I could take the throne. What were you searching for? A partner. Elena smiled slightly. My mother, Queen Meridian, decreed that I could not rule alone. The Thracian throne requires 2 monarchs, a balance of power. But she refused to arrange a political marriage. She said I needed to find someone who would act with honor, even when there was no advantage in doing so. Marcus felt his world tilting. This was a test. 12 stations, 12 repairs. At each one, I presented myself as a broke hauler desperate for help. Some mechanics laughed me away. Some tried to charge me triple the normal rates, seeing easy prey. 3 accepted partial payment, but did substandard work. 2 tried to extort me for more money after beginning repairs. Elena stepped closer. You are the only one who asked for nothing beyond a token payment and delivered exceptional work. I just did what anyone decent would do. No, Marcus. You did what almost no one does. You gave freely, expecting nothing in return, and you did it with skill and integrity. Elena took his hands. My mother was right. This was the test I needed. Not to find someone who would be impressed by my title or my wealth, but someone who would act with honor toward a stranger who had nothing to offer. Marcus's mind raced. Wait, are you saying what I think you're saying? I am offering you a choice, Elena said. You can accept this disc, acknowledge what you now know, and continue your life here. I will ensure you receive exclusive contracts with Thracian shipping concerns. You will be wealthy and successful. Or you can come with me. Marry me, rule beside me. Help me lead the Thracian systems into a new era. Elena's eyes searched his face. I cannot promise it will be easy. Politics are complicated and dangerous. You would be giving up your independence, your privacy, and your simple life here. But I can promise that I will value your judgment, respect your principles, and stand beside you as you have stood beside countless strangers. Marcus looked at the disc in his hand, then at the woman before him. 3 days ago, she had been just another customer. Now she was offering him something beyond his wildest imagination. I need to think, he said. Of course. Elena released his hands. I have business on the station for 2 more days. Find me before I leave. She departed, leaving Marcus alone in his repair bay. He spent the night staring at the ceiling of his small quarters. Weighing the choice before him by morning, he had his answer. Marcus found Elena in the station's observation deck, watching the stars wheel past. He approached quietly and stood beside her. I've made my decision, he said. Elena turned to face him, her expression carefully neutral. "And I accept on one condition." "Name it." "I want to keep working. Not here, obviously, but I don't want to be just a figurehead. If I'm going to help rule 40 worlds, I want to actually help. Use my skills. Make a difference." Elena's face broke into a brilliant smile. "Done. The Thracian fleet has 10,000 ships that always need maintenance oversight. I think I know the perfect person to revolutionize our repair protocols." Marcus laughed, the tension breaking. "When do we leave?" "Tomorrow." Elena took his hand. "My mother will want to meet you immediately. Fair warning, she's going to love that you made me wait for an answer." "Your mother sounds terrifying." "She is. But I think you'll get along perfectly." As they stood together watching the stars, Marcus reflected on how a simple act of kindness had changed everything. He'd fixed a stranger's ship, expecting nothing in return, and somehow that had been exactly the right thing to do. The galaxy, it seemed, rewarded honor in unexpected ways.